Most people don't realize the truth until life hits them in the one place they thought was safe, their mind. You think the world breaks you from the outside, but it doesn't. It breaks you from the inside, long before anything actually happens. And I say this because I've been there too, collapsing under pressure that existed only in my own thoughts, bleeding energy into fears that were never real. We live in a time where people crumble at a comment, lose themselves in someone's opinion, and surrender their peace to the slightest shift in someone's tone. One misunderstanding can ruin their week. One rejection can erase their identity. One failure can convince them they are worthless, not because life is cruel, but because their minds were never trained to face it. Machiavelli understood this long before psychology had a name for it. He knew that power wasn't physical, it wasn't social, it wasn't even political. Power was mental. The person who could rule their mind could walk through chaos untouched, unfazed, unshaken. And the one who couldn't would kneel to everything: insults, betrayal, expectations, even their own imagination. You're here because a part of you is tired of being emotionally predictable, tired of being shaken by people who don't deserve that kind of power, tired of losing battles that only happen inside your head. And maybe, just maybe, you're ready for something different, something ruthless, something that makes you mentally untouchable. Because the mind is a throne, and if you don't sit on it, someone else will. Stay with me until the end of this video. What you're about to hear won't just motivate you, it will awaken a part of you that has been asleep for years. Before we dive deeper, take a second to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next piece of truth that might change everything for you. There was a time in my life when a single message could ruin my entire day. One unanswered text made me question my worth. One cold glance could send my mind spiraling into insecurity. I remember lying awake at night, replaying conversations in my head as if they were life or death trials. And the worst part wasn't what people did. It was how easily I let their words invade the deepest rooms of my mind. You know that feeling, don't you? When silence feels like rejection. When someone's mood dictates your confidence. When you pretend you're fine, but inside you're negotiating with a storm you don't know how to stop. Most people think mental weakness appears suddenly, like an explosion. But it doesn't. It happens slowly, quietly, through 1,000 tiny moments that chip away at you. The day you apologized for something that wasn't your fault. The day you swallowed your truth because you didn't want to upset anyone. The day you let someone else's opinion override your own voice. These moments seem harmless, but together they turn your mind into a battlefield you never trained for. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even notice it happening. Maybe you didn't either. Life doesn't break you with tragedy first. It breaks you with subtlety, with self-doubt, with expectations, with the pressure to be gentle, agreeable, pleasing, good. You learn to survive on approval, to breathe through validation, to live through the reflections of other people's eyes. It is a quiet kind of collapse, one that the world applauds because it looks like kindness on the outside. But inside you're exhausted. You're tired of holding peace for everyone while no one holds peace for you. You're tired of absorbing negativity because you're afraid conflict will expose you. You're tired of appearing strong while privately wondering why everything shakes you so easily. Here's the truth most people never admit. Weakness of the mind doesn't feel like weakness. It feels like sensitivity. It feels like caring. It feels like being a good person. But in reality, it's the leash the world uses to pull you in any direction it wants. Think about your life for a moment. How many decisions did you make out of fear instead of intention? How many dreams did you shrink because someone doubted you? How many times have you walked on eggshells, afraid that your real feelings would push people away? You weren't born like this. The world shaped you into this. Life conditioned you to react instead of choose. And every time you broke down quietly, every time you let a comment destroy you, every time you begged for clarity from someone who enjoyed your confusion, You were slowly being trained to believe that your mind belongs to everything except you. But deep down, a part of you knows that something needs to change. A part of you is tired of being emotionally accessible to people who don't deserve that power. Tired of feeling fragile in situations where you should feel unshakable. Tired of giving the world full access to your heart while guarding nothing for yourself. This is where Machiavelli becomes uncomfortable but necessary. He understood a truth most people spend their whole lives avoiding. If you don't learn to control your mind, someone else will. Not because they are evil, but because human beings naturally take advantage of whatever is easy to influence. And people who are emotionally predictable are the easiest of all. You've lived long enough to feel it. Some people test you just to see how fast you'll break. Some offer kindness only when they need something. Some praise you to keep you soft. Some withhold affection just to see you chase it. And the more emotionally reactive you are, the more control the world has over you. I know, because that was my life for years. But here's the turning point, the reason you're watching this video right now. Somewhere inside you, there's a part that refuses to keep living like this. A part that wants to walk through life with a mind that cannot be shaken, manipulated, or touched. And to reach that version of yourself, you must be willing to confront the truth. The one most people run away from. Your mind has never truly belonged to you, not yet, but it can. Now before we go deeper, tell me in the comments, which part of this story felt like yours? I read every comment, and I'll reply to yours too. Most people assume their suffering comes from the outside world, from betrayal, from failure, from rejection. But the deeper I studied the human mind, the more I realized something unsettling. What breaks us isn't the world. It's the weakness within us. And Machiavelli, Jung, and even Nietzsche understood this long before our age of emotional fragility began. Let us start with the truth Machiavelli saw with ruthless clarity. People are not guided by fairness or morality. They are guided by interest, fear, and advantage. He didn't say this to encourage cruelty. He said it because he saw human nature without illusions. And the moment you lose your illusions, you stop expecting the world to protect you. You start preparing yourself to face it. Machiavelli believed that a person without inner control is easy to manipulate, not through force, but through emotions. A reactive mind is predictable, and a predictable mind is powerless. He understood that the world does not reward purity. It rewards strategy, perception, and discipline. That is why so many people suffer. They expect kindness in a world built on personal gain. But Machiavelli wasn't the only thinker who saw this. Carl Jung went deeper into the unconscious. He warned that most people don't live with a unified mind. They live with a fractured one. There is the version of you that you show the world, the persona, and then there is the shadow, the hidden self filled with fear, insecurity, rage, and unmet needs. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate." And isn't that exactly what happens? You think you're suffering because someone betrayed you. But the truth is, your shadow is suffering because it relied on them too much. You think you're hurt because someone criticized you. But your ego is hurt because it wanted validation instead of truth. You think the world is cruel. But your inner child is terrified because it never learned to stand on its own. Jung showed us something Machiavelli implied, but never said directly. People aren't controlled by others. They're controlled by the parts of themselves they refuse to confront. Then Nietzsche comes in like a lightning strike. If Machiavelli explained human nature and Jung explained the unconscious, Nietzsche explained what to do with it. You must build a mind so powerful it creates its own meaning. The weak mind collapses under the weight of life. The strong mind transcends it. Nietzsche believed that suffering is not the enemy. Avoidance is. He saw that the people who break easily are the ones who have never trained their minds to hold pressure. They drown in emotions because they never learn to breathe under them. They cling to comfort because they fear confronting their own potential. His philosophy could be summarized in one sentence: become someone who can carry the weight of your own existence. When you combine Machiavelli's realism, Jung's inner depth, and Nietzsche's demand for strength, a pattern emerges. People break mentally not because they are weak by nature, but because they live unconsciously. They let emotion guide them. They let fear dictate their choices. They let the world define their identity. And worst of all, they never question it. I've lived through that myself. I know what it feels like to be emotionally triggered by things that shouldn't even matter. To feel small in situations where I should feel grounded. To give people access to my peace simply because I didn't know how to protect it. But once you see the mechanism behind the collapse, you can break free from it. Here is the truth most people never want to hear. Your suffering doesn't come from what people did. It comes from the power you gave them. Machiavelli would say, reclaim your control. Jung would say, face your shadow. Nietzsche would say, rise above yourself. Together they point toward one direction, the birth of a mind that cannot be touched. A mind that sees people clearly. A mind that stands in its own authority. A mind that no longer reacts to every emotion, insult, or disappointment. A mind that becomes sovereign, its own ruler. This isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming conscious. Now I want to ask you something. Which thinker speaks to your soul the most, Machiavelli, Jung, or Nietzsche? Tell me in the comments and I'll reply to your answer personally. You don't need a kingdom, an army, or a throne to understand Machiavelli. All you need is life. Because life reveals power dynamics everywhere, at work, in relationships, in friendships, even in the silence between two people who refuse to say what they really feel. Let's start with something simple, the workplace. You've probably seen this. Two people with the same skill level. One rises, one remains invisible. It's never just talent that decides who grows, it's perception. One worker stays quiet, reactive, scared of making the wrong move. The other understands a Machiavellian truth. People judge by what they see, so instead of blending in, they control how they appear, calm, prepared, composed even when they're nervous inside. Who gets the promotion? Not the most emotional, not the most humble, but the one who shapes the narrative, just like Machiavelli taught. Now look at relationships. So many people break because they expect loyalty to be pure and permanent. But loyalty, whether romantic or platonic, is almost always conditional, tied to interest, timing, and unmet needs. A friend who seemed loyal for years suddenly distances themselves once your success threatens their insecurity. A partner who once adored you withdraws the moment you stop fulfilling their emotional expectations. A colleague who praised you yesterday competes with you today. Is it betrayal? Perhaps. But it's also human nature working exactly as Machiavelli predicted. People act on advantage, not emotions. And when you understand that, you stop bleeding from wounds that should have been warnings. Let's shift to something deeper, romantic attachment. Most people don't lose themselves in love, they lose themselves in fantasy. They give too much, too fast. They expect permanence in a world built on change. They mistake attention for devotion. And when the other person pulls away, they collapse internally. Jung would call this the shadow's hunger. The unconscious desire for validation, for completion, for someone else to fill the void you avoid confronting. And because the shadow is unconscious, you don't see the danger until it's too late. You think you're being loving, but you're actually being dependent. You think you're being loyal, but you're actually ignoring red flags your unconscious refuses to face. And when the relationship cracks, you don't just lose the person, you lose yourself. Because your identity was built around them. Jung warned us, what you make dependent on others will eventually be used to control you. Now let me show you how Nietzsche appears in real life. Imagine a person who wants to start a business, change their body, leave a toxic relationship, or express their truth. They hesitate, they doubt. They replay the risks over and over until the fear itself becomes a prison. Nietzsche called this the morality of the weak, the voice inside you that prefers safety over strength, comfort over growth, familiarity over transformation. He believed that every meaningful life requires confrontation, with discomfort, with pain, with your own limitations. But most people avoid that confrontation. They want the reward without the struggle. They want confidence without discipline. They want emotional strength while avoiding every situation that demands it. And so their life becomes a loop, predictable, small, suffocating. Meanwhile, the person who embraces discomfort, who welcomes responsibility, who says yes to the weight of life, rises. This is not philosophy anymore. This is your reality. Look around your life. That one person who has power in the room. They mastered emotional neutrality. That friend others respect. They speak less and act more, pure Machiavellian silence. That colleague everyone trusts. They understand human patterns, Jung's domain. That stranger who walks with certainty. They carry Nietzsche's fire. Strength is never accidental. It's trained. It's chosen. It's lived. Now look at your own patterns. Think of every time you reacted too fast. Every time someone's opinion ruins your day. Every moment of silence scared you. Every situation where your emotions became predictable. Every person who walked over your boundaries because you didn't defend them. Those moments weren't failures, they were lessons. They were invitations to rise. And here is the deeper truth. Life has already shown you exactly where you need to become stronger, through every person who hurt you, every situation that shook you, every moment you felt small. Those were not tragedies. They were instructions, because life doesn't whisper to the mind that refuses to grow. It pushes, it breaks, it pressures, so you can finally see what you're meant to become. Now tell me, which example from your life came to mind while listening to this part? Share it in the comments. I read every single one. There is a point in life when survival stops being enough. A point where you realize you've spent years reacting to people, to emotions, to disappointments, to the world, and almost never acting from your own center. I reached that point when I finally understood something painful but liberating. Strength doesn't arrive. Strength is built. And these 7 lessons, yes, sharp, yes, uncomfortable, became the foundation that reshaped my mind from fragile to unshakable. Let's begin. 1. Control the narrative. Before people hear your words, they judge your presence. Before they know your truth, they make assumptions. Before you reveal your intentions, they react to your image. Machiavelli understood that perception always walks ahead of reality. You don't have to act like someone you're not, but you must take responsibility for the version of you the world sees. When I stopped explaining myself, when I stopped trying to be interpreted correctly, something shifted. My silence began to communicate more powerfully than my words ever did. Narrative is not about manipulation. It's about refusing to let the world write your story for you. 2. Detach from emotion. Emotion is human. Emotional control is rare. Most people confuse expression with strength. They think reacting quickly means being honest. But Machiavelli, Jung, and Nietzsche would agree on one truth. Your emotions can inform you, but they must not command you. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It means observing your anger without becoming it, acknowledging your fear without serving it, feeling sadness without drowning in it. When you detach, people lose access to the buttons they used to push so easily. Your triggers stop being public property. 3. Expect betrayal, not from malice, from nature. People change as their needs change. Loyalty is often temporary, tied to convenience, timing, or fear. Seeing this truth doesn't turn you bitter. It turns you awake. When you expect betrayal, you no longer place your emotional safety in anyone's hands but your own. You learn to trust behavior, not promises. Consistency, not charm. Patterns, not apologies. This isn't paranoia, it's preparation. It's the end of naive suffering. 4. Appear calm. Think cold. Calmness is not a soft trait. It is a psychological weapon. People panic when they can't predict you. They doubt themselves when they can't shake you. They hesitate when your stillness contradicts their chaos. A calm mind is not emotionless, it's trained. Machiavelli admired leaders who stayed composed under pressure. Jung believed calmness comes from integrating your inner conflicts. Nietzsche believed calmness is the mark of one who has conquered himself. Appear calm. Think cold. And watch how quickly the dynamics shift. 5. Keep power in silence. Silence is not emptiness, it's concentration. The more you talk, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the more predictable you become. And predictability is vulnerability. Silence forces people to question their assumptions. It makes them reveal more while you reveal less. It creates tension that works in your favor. When you speak only with intention, your words become weighty. Silence becomes your armor and your leverage. 6. Master the art of absence. Presence is powerful, but absence is unforgettable when used correctly. People don't value what is always accessible. They value what they can't reach easily. Strategic absence recalibrates relationships. It clarifies who misses you, who replaces you, and who never valued you to begin with. Absence is a mirror reflecting truth without saying a word. When you step back intentionally, your presence returns sharper, heavier, and more respected. Absence is not withdrawal, it is elevation. 7. Rule your mind. This is where all power begins and where most people lose it. If your mind is chaotic, your life will mirror that chaos. If your thoughts run wild, your emotions will follow. If you let fear lead, the world will use fear against you. But when you rule your mind, your emotions obey you, your focus strengthens you, and no insult, betrayal, or failure can define you. Machiavelli called this discipline. Jung called it individuation. Nietzsche called it self-overcoming. You can simply call it freedom, because once you own your mind, you own every battlefield you walk through. These 7 lessons are not meant to harden you. They are meant to return you to yourself, to the strength you abandoned, the discipline you forgot, the sovereignty you were taught to silence. Now tell me, which of the 7 lessons woke something up inside you? Share it in the comments. I will read every single one. At some point in your life, you begin to notice that the moments that broke you were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to reveal you. Every betrayal, every silence, every disappointment, every anxious night, every storm inside your chest. They weren't accidents. They were messages, quiet instructions, invitations to rise into a version of yourself you kept postponing. And if you're still here listening, breathing, absorbing, then a part of you already knows this. You were never meant to stay fragile. You were meant to become formidable, not cold, not heartless, not distant, but sovereign. Because the truth is, life doesn't get easier. But you can become harder to break. When Machiavelli wrote about power, he wasn't speaking only to rulers. He was speaking to anyone who ever felt small inside their own mind. Anyone who ever let the world dictate their emotions. Anyone who ever surrendered their strength to the opinions of others. And if we strip away centuries of interpretation, his message becomes simple. Rule yourself first. Everything else comes after. Jung would agree. He believed the real prison is internal, the shadow we refuse to face, the wounds we never heal, the versions of ourselves we keep abandoning. And Nietzsche. He would look you in the eyes and tell you that your greatest task is to overcome who you were yesterday, again and again, until you become something unshakable. When you bring these 3 minds together, Machiavelli's realism, Jung's depth, Nietzsche's fire, you begin to see what strength truly looks like. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not aggressive. True strength is silent clarity. A mind that cannot be manipulated. A heart that refuses to kneel. A presence that does not tremble. And here's the part I learned painfully. The part I wish someone had told me earlier. You don't become mentally untouchable all at once. You become untouchable in chapters. It happens the day you stop over-explaining. The day you stop reacting to every emotion. The day you stop expecting loyalty from unstable people. The day you choose silence over chaos. The day you disappear to rebuild yourself. The day you look in the mirror and say, "My mind belongs to me now." These are small decisions, but they add up. Each one is a brick in the fortress you're building inside yourself. A fortress no one can infiltrate. A fortress no one can shake. A fortress built not from fear, but from awareness. And once you reach that point, not perfect, not emotionless, but steady, the world begins to respond differently. People treat you with more respect. Manipulators avoid you. Chaos loses its grip. Your past loses its authority. And peace stops being something you chase, because it becomes something you are. That is the untouchable mind. Not a warrior screaming into the battlefield, but a sovereign standing calmly above it. And now, as we close this journey, I want you to remember one thing. Strength is not a gift. Strength is a decision you remaster every single day. If you're here, it means you're ready. Ready to stop living reactively. Ready to stop breaking silently. Ready to rule the one kingdom that has always been yours, your mind. Now, before you go, take a moment to breathe and ask yourself, which lesson will you start practicing today? Comment it below. I read every word. And if this video awakens something in you, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video that sharpens your mind and strengthens your inner world. This journey is just beginning. Stay awake, stay sovereign, stay untouchable.